some questions about the icon assignment, what I'm looking for the part 2, so I thought I would very quickly demonstrate a few little things. What I've done is I've taken some of the artwork from the discussion forum and I've placed it on a layer, and I've locked down this layer so that I don't accidentally draw on the layer. Now very quickly, if we go to the document setup, we can see that my artboard is letter size, and that's okay for this because I'm going to create artboards at the 50 by 50 pixel dimensions in just a moment. But first I'm going to go in, I'm going to zoom in to this blue ribbon, and I'm going to select the ellipse tool, and what I'm going to do is very quickly draw around this, and this is not going to be perfect, so this is just demonstration purposes. I expect y'all to do a bang-up job on this. I know that you're capable of it. So I'm going to start by holding down the Option. On the PC you'd hold down the Alt key, and this is kind of similar to what you did for your dynamic composition, because if you recall, you were doing some copies of some shapes. Again, this is not going to be perfect. This is on the fly. You see I've got a few little things to adjust. I can adjust those with my arrow keys. And then I can take the shape builder, which you're learning about in your textbook. Ah, you were hiding, weren't you? So I'm going to go around. Oops. I'm going to go around with my shape builder tool. Sorry, you have to have all of those shapes selected. And boom. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a, well, this is a compound path. I'm going to make another compound path. I'm going to draw a circle in the center. I'm holding down Shift to select, so I have both of those shapes selected. Let's move you out of the way for just a second, Layers panel. And I'm going to go to my Pathfinders. This is under Properties, but you can also find it here under Window. And I'm going to subtract the front. So I've got the first part of the ribbon. Again, it's not perfect. I'm going to go to the pen tool, zoom in just a little bit, and have some fun with this. Now I could do another compound path and overlap these, but for this I'm just going to draw it very quickly. And you want to make sure that you have things like even distance between, all of the different components for consistency. I'm going to hit the T for the text tool. And oops. Nothing like a live demonstration. Let's find us a good font. Let's see, we want to go with something heavy. I'm going to go to my character menu. Okay. And let's make that a little larger. So this is our first place ribbon. And what I'm going to do with this is something that you'll do when you're in compliance with font use, the end user license agreement. If you're using Adobe fonts, you don't need to worry about this. But I'm going to create outlines of my text. And sometimes when your instructors say create outlines, that's confused with adding a stroke. Those are two different things. I'm going to choose a blue for the blue ribbon, and then I'm going to sample that blue so that I make sure that all my components, these are a little sloppy, but I would go back and make those a little better. So there is our blue ribbon. Yeah, actually I'm going to do that now because they're bugging me. I have to remind myself this is just a demo. Okay, so maybe move this over. Oops, it's wanting to be wonky this morning. Okay, well, you get the idea. So now I'm going to turn back on the sketches. I'm going to very quickly do the bat. And actually I'm going to switch so that I can see what I'm doing. And I love, love, love the pen tool. Make peace with the pen tool. This is probably the single most important tool that you'll learn to use in a vector drawing program. And yes, I'm going over just a little hair with this. What I'm doing is I'm clicking and dragging, and I can adjust those handles a little later if I need to. And I see that this bat has sort of little knobby things around it. I could have just drawn the whole thing without the circle, but I wanted to make a compound path. Almost there. Getting the other wing. Okay, let's make that bat body just a little bit bigger. There we go. We can work in blue for the moment. Combine those. Now we can add our little knobby things. And we'll make another compound shape. And this isn't exactly the way that the designer planned it, but you, like I said, you get the idea. Okay, so I'm going to select all of these, and I can do that because I have my background locked. I'm going to combine them all. I'm going to go up here and make that a black bat. Okay, so I have these two vector shapes, and I'm going to place them on two separate artboards. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to select the blue ribbon, and then I'm going to create a new artboard. I'm just going to create two artboards for now, and I'm going to make them 50 by 50 pixels. Okay. So I'm going to place the blue ribbon on the first one. You can see it's way too large, but that's the beauty of vector graphics, is that you get to scale. Okay, so now I'm going to go back. I'm going to copy my bat. Got too many windows open here. I'm going to scale my bat down. Actually, I could do a grouping of bats. I don't know if there's a specific name for a grouping of bats. A clutch of bats. A flock of bats. We're going to make this one smaller. And we're going to copy this one more time. Make this one even smaller. So that's the baby bat in the distance. So what we can do with this now is we can go to the artboards. And so we're on artboard 2, so we could call that bats. Blue ribbon. And you can see how this is an easy way to organize your artwork. And when you do this, you can also export these individual artboards. Now, if you want to put them all of your icons on one artboard, that's fine as long as they're 50 by 50. So, and this is solid one color. And if we needed to make this just one color black, we could do that. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, very clean, very stripped down, very just to the basics of what you're trying to communicate in these icons. At some other examples from other design students. Okay. So this designer did not set up individual artboards And you can see that if we zoom way out, mostly these icons are easily recognizable. The beehive has a lot of detail. It begins to lose detail there as flowers do. Still pretty easy to tell the chicken. But this designer has created these as one color, and they took it a step further and they included a version with black outlines. You only need to do the black and white version and the color version. So, and also, making compound shapes, that's always a good idea. But that is one example. Here's another. And while this student used a tint of the colors, you can see that if we zoom in here, you can see that this little gnome's hat, we have this demarcation. So these should be completely blue. Third example. Here is the straight up black and white version. Here's the color version. So this is more of what I want to see. I don't want to see a color version with a black outline. So just one color, solid one color. And I'm showing you these examples not to say, hey, do your project exactly like this, because each of these examples has room for improvement. So if you have questions about this, please reach out and review your textbook information and ask one another. Use your classmates as a resource. And of course, there are folks at the tutoring center who are more than happy to help you out. There's usually somebody there who has Adobe experience, and if they don't, then we have virtual appointments as well that you can set up at the tutoring center. All right, so thanks. Give me a shout if you need anything, and take care.